Happy Black History Month, everyone. This is See It With C. Thanks for coming to chat with me. This is the Monday meetup where every Monday at 7 p.m. you get some content, whether it be a live stream or a video premiere. And today, if you were here last Monday, I got so rudely interrupted by the internet connection on Explora the Seas. So I wanted to give my uninterrupted recap of Explora Journeys. Let's start that over again. Want to get my full recap of Explora Journeys. I was able to be on Explorer 1 out of San Juan, Puerto Rico, heading to made 4 stops throughout the Caribbean, 7 nights on that ship, which was a good amount of time to be on it. I actually left feeling like I should be on there a little longer. But I think I was live last week for like 45 minutes. And then randomly, the internet was so crisp, so clear. Y'all were saying the internet is doing great, etc. And it cut clean out. So usually in the Monday read-ups, I answer any questions you have about travel, about cruising. I talk about the content that I released, and of course, talk to you all about what's going on in your travel streets. And welcome in, everyone. I see people slowly coming in here. Welcome in, welcome in. Let's see. We have first up, got to give a shout out to Regina Gladney, who joined the channel membership. Welcome to the C-Suite, Regina Gladney. Hope you enjoy it back there. I actually posted a written member update earlier today, just kind of recapping some things, talking about coming back to the big freeze that's DC right now, and some other like trip updates. Channel members, what else channel members get? Channel members get trip updates, channel members get life updates. You all also get some behind the scenes things that I end up doing. You also get a discount if you book through, not a discount, you stop saying discount. You get some onboard credit as a gift from me to you whenever you book with me. So thanks for joining the membership, Regina. We have MH Family Adventures in the building. Welcome in, Rockwell. Thanks for being here. Thanks for popping by. I know you are busy with this busy wave season. I know everyone, it seems like, is hitting those January or trying to achieve those not January, but trying to hit those yearly travel goals. So I know I've been busy planning, booking, talking to people about travel. So thank you for taking your time out of, I know it is a busy schedule for you to come and say hello. And thanks for being a member and a moderator. And I was actually watching your St. Martin content before popping on live. Rockwell just released a video related to St. Martin about the Dutch side and the French side. I think the last time I went to I've only been to St. Martin once. And I was just on the Dutch side. So I think I want to go back. It was definitely one of the places that I went and I was like, yeah, I can go back here. But I want to try the French side the next time. Tia B is in the building. Welcome in, Shantia. Thanks for being here. Thanks for popping by. Much appreciated. Linda Jackson is in the building. Say hello, Carlene. Hi, Linda. Thanks for coming in here. Hope you are warm, safe wherever you are, y'all. We actually this is our first day above freezing here in DC. And when I got home from Explorer, it had already snowed. So my car is literally like snowed in somewhere in my neighborhood. Like it's not even snowed in because I probably could all-wheel drive it out. It's iced in. Like literally, I was standing on top of probably like 6 feet of ice. And usually like when you stand on snow, like you kind of like cave in. No, I was up there. I said 6 feet, 6 inches of snow. I'm giving one of y'all those like old timer when my day when I walked to school. So my car is still snowed, iced in. But the biggest thing that I was excited about when I got home on Wednesday, because I have an old house. Like my house is over 100 some odd years old, so it can get kind of cold in here. And I have a couple of bathroom pipes that kind of sit close to walls. I think how they renovated it or just how it was, probably could have did a better job with the flip. But first time homeowner, I didn't know better. So I went to turn on my water and all the sinks were working. I've gotten to the point now, I've had a pipe burst before. Actually twice I've had pipes burst. So now whenever I travel in the winter, usually I don't like to travel in the winter because I get so nervous about my pipes. But now it seems the strategy has been just turn the water off. Well, this time, and I think because it just got so cold, like it was literally 7 degrees when I landed here on Wednesday last week. So I went to go turn my water on. Every spigot was working except for my the sink and the shower in my bathroom. So I immediately like turned the water back off. I'm in here like roughing it a little bit, y'all. But today finally, because I was just so nervous that like it will burst. So I just was like, let me just turn the water off. So today finally we got over 32 degrees and I heard those magic sounds. I waited a little while and turned it on, and at first it wasn't working, so I was like, okay, let me go check on the car. Came back to the house, tried it one more time, and my sink and my shower work, and there is no bursted pipe, thank God. So that is I'm happy, truly happy about that. I know Howard University was showing some video today. I think they thawed out too, and their whole was the cafeteria kind of flooded. So it's gonna be rough here. I think they're anticipating we probably gonna still see the snow on the ground until like March. It's so thick and icy. Hi, Caprice, welcome in. Thanks so much for sending me that the how to make that avatar. Now I have to sit down and actually use it, but I appreciate you sending it that day of how to make like the fancy thumbnail thing. So I'm gonna sit down and do it eventually. I feel like I'm a person, I like collect stuff for my to-do list and then slowly chip away at it. But thank you for sharing that. Thanks for coming to chat. Steph Stone is in the building. Welcome in, Steph. Thanks for being here. Have you thought out, Steph? Have you thought out for wherever you are in the DMV? Because it's nasty. I think PG County's public schools are going to stay closed for the rest of the year. Not year. That's what it feels like. They're going to be probably closed for the rest of the week. I think DC keeps doing this whole like 2-hour delay, but going out today just to walk through my neighborhood, like the mayor was like, oh yeah, you can walk on the sidewalks. I live right across the street from a school, and the sidewalk probably 20 steps away from the school is still iced. Like I ended up on my way back home, I just went ahead and walked in the street. So y'all be safe out here, because this stuff is not moving anytime soon. Hi, Monet to the T. Welcome in, Simone girl. Thanks for being here. Victoria's in the building saying, hola, hola. Happy Monday, Victoria. Thanks for popping by. Yolo is in the building saying happy Monday. Thanks for popping by. Miss Sydney is here. Yay. She actually gets to catch it live today. She says, welcome to February. Yes, happy Monday. Welcome to February. If y'all saw the Grammys last night, that was, well, actually, I don't watch a lot of TV live. I wake up after awards show and I kind of scan through my phone. I get to see all the snippets. So it was actually, it seemed like the Black artists did it. It was a great start to Black History Month. Thank you for being here, Miss Sydney. I know usually you catch the replay, but it's cool to see you in the live. We also have another channel member popping in. T. Gary 33 became a member. Welcome to the C-Suite, T. Gary. I hope you enjoy it back there. I actually have some members only content related to travel day, probably. I don't think I'm gonna put that in the actual vlog. I think I'm gonna leave that for the channel members. So that'll be for you all for Explora, my trip down to San Juan. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for joining the membership. The moderator with the most is Keisha H is in the building saying happy Monday. Talking to Big Murph, telling her good North Carolina neighbor happy Monday. Carolyn Plowden made it back, saying it's been a minute since I caught a live. Glad to be here. We are happy you are here, Carolyn. I was able to catch a live on Monday. I know my schedule had got a little off for a bit because during the fall semester I was teaching, so I had to push my Monday meetup back to 8. And then after the semester, I came back to my 7 o'clock slot. So I know I kind of missed a couple people in the shuffle, but I'm glad people are slowly making their way back to the Monday meetup. Gina's World is in the building from Resilient Lady. Hope you are enjoying your time on board. I have to get back on Resilient Lady. That was the one that I did. I think I did 2 days. I did the 2-day preview. Like they had like a travel agent sailing on Virgin Voyages Resilient when she rolled out. But that's not enough time to see any ship. But it was good to be on board. Or maybe I did 4 days. Was that a back-to-back? That was my first back-to-back ever, I think. But I want to get back on that ship. I feel like I didn't get good enough time on Resilient. So hopefully you are enjoying it out there. I've heard the cruising weather has been wild. One of my friends just got off of Norwegian Getaway, I think. And he was like, he could not believe that he could feel the waves moving. That was his first cruise, I believe. So I had to compare notes, get caught up on how his cruise was. But I reached out to him and I was just like, "How is it? How's it going?" And he was kind of like, "Yo, I wasn't expecting this like large ship." He called it a boat, but give the newbie cruiser some grace. But he was like, "I wasn't expecting a ship to fill, the waves like that." But apparently it's some huge swells out in the ocean. When I was coming back, Explorer, they said we got lucky because the islands of the Bahamas were kind of shielding us from catching some waves, but every now and then it felt like we would hit a curve kind of almost coming back. And then after that, it just seems like it's just been getting kind of progressively worse. The seas have. So I know folks talk about hurricane season, but something that you probably be more mindful of is the winter cruising when the ocean, those waves start kicking up. And he actually also said it was like 65-mile-per-hour winds or something like that. They couldn't get on the top deck. So it's probably going to be a while. If y'all leaving out like maybe this weekend, it's probably going to be a little bit of time before the storms, the seas calm down. So pack your Dramamine, pack anything that you need to keep you comfortable. Because it seems like it's gonna be a rough ride for the next few days. Mark Hackett is in the building saying, "Welcome in." He said, "I heard you tiptoeing on the marble floors." Oh my gosh. So I have a really good backstory, and I guess this will be a good segue to talking about Explora Journeys. So the funny backstory to that is my homegirl Sharice and I had to send her the short because she was kind of the inspiration behind that one. And the story is she and I were at Caravana, which is like Canada, Toronto's version of a carnival experience. Like we put the feathers on, we joined I don't know what they call it, a band, I think is what the right word is. So anyway, we were younger. I think this was like 2013-ish, I think. Went to Caravana and we were like in somebody had invited us, was like have like a little hotel party, not really party, but like they had a really posh hotel room. Like it was one of them hotel rooms that had the living room, bedroom. It was huge. Well, they had a heated floor in this really large bathroom. So the person was kind of like showing us throughout their suite. And so I'm, kind of like walking around looking at all the amenities and the features. And I just hear my homegirl, Sharice, skirting across the floors. I heard her tiptoeing on the marble floors. I did not know what that song was. So it was like an inside joke for the longest time. So anyway, fast forward, got on Explora Journey. And like, there's this robe hanging in the closet, there's some slippers hanging in the closet, and there's like this heated floor. And I immediately thought about our time at Caravana. So that little short is doing pretty well. It was fun to record. I actually have one more fun kind of short that came out of that. But I was having me a good old time in that suite. So as you all know, I'm fresh off of Explora Journeys. I did the OG ship, which was Explorer 1 out of San Juan because of the itinerary. So there was, it was a 7-day cruise, which I will say, to truly appreciate an Explora Journey experience, I know they're starting to roll out some of the 5-day cruises, 4 or 5-day cruises in some places. However, the thing about those 4 and 5 days, some of those are kind of pricey, A, and B, if you can catch a good price. For instance, like I saw a solo rate on a 4-day to Barbados and back, I think, right before I was about to leave, or for late February. This is February. Anyway, there's a 4-day out of Barbados. However, you have to actually get to Barbados and think about the hotel costs, that kind of thing. So it kind of makes it worth it to just do like a 7-day. But honestly, a lot of people who were on board were doing 14 days. So I met this couple from New Jersey. They were doing 14 days on board. There was people who were doing Barbados, but they were doing for 10 days. So immediately as I stepped on that ship, I was kind of like, yo, I want to be here for like 2 weeks. Like I immediately walked on and was like, yeah, this 7 days ain't gonna be enough. Yeah, the amenities were really good. I appreciated like the colors that they brought too. So it was like that fresh, kind of crisp. It was still like a little like that MSC dark tones they like to do. So MSC likes to do a lot of like brown, tan, black, chocolate kind of thing, but it wasn't as like some of their ships, I don't know, drive me nuts with the like they'll put purple in the cabin. I don't know. But it was very sleek. The ship was beautiful. What else? Left out of San Juan, which I will say the San Juan cruise port could be a little rough between either traffic getting there or some of the personnel, I think because they're shuffling between different lines. They were kind of a little rough to work with, just kind of knowing the patterns. Like the one guy, he kept forgetting which order that he was seating people in to actually like board the ship. So when you get on Explorer, you don't have to stand in line. They actually just sit down and wait. And you wait for a second, and then whenever a table opens, then they'll call you over. So I kind of like that they kind of, take that immediately. You're already doing the relaxation. It's not that everybody's getting grumpy and crazy about being in the lines. Like even the luggage check-in was really what is it called? Seamless. So luggage was kind of like you don't get any sort of tags. You just walk up, you show your documents. So you show your passport, you show your boarding pass. They'll print out your tag right there and you're free to walk in. So you don't have to do the stress of, the little carrier, how I'm gonna attach my luggage tag to my suitcase. No, it's already there for you. So that was, kind of nice. When you walk in, they don't have you stand in line. So that's sometimes where it causes a lot of chaos for people beginning a cruise. It gets really like crazy on boarding day. You're standing in line, the line is long, it's not moving. To avoid that, they have you sit down. There's tea, there's flavored water. But the one little guy, he just was not remembering the order that he sat people in. So that caused a slight little bit of frustration. But once they called you up, it was smooth sailing. If it's your first time on board or if you are a status match. So I wasn't sure it was because my first time on Explorer or was a status match. But they will call a manager over to you to personally greet you and welcome you on board Explora Journey. So I believe it was because of status match, because he was just like, oh, this is your first time, but I see that you are platinum or whatever the thing is on version. I mean, I'm saying all kind of names right now. Don't mind me, y'all. Long day. And I'm back on the Vino. Yeah, he basically was just kind of like, welcome on board, that kind of thing. If you need anything when you're on board, they actually have the staff who are from the ship are actually outside in the check-in process already meeting you and becoming familiar with you. So he was like, whenever you get on board, just look for me. So that was a kind of nice touch. Of course, you get on the ship and there is, what is it? They have the champagne, immediately starts flowing. Your drinks are already included. So basically, this is the first time in a long time, and dare I say ever, that I have walked off a ship with a zero balance. Because your food is included, your premium, quote unquote, premium dining. So there are like 2 restaurants that you can eat at that are kind of either the Mediterranean or it's Marriott is Mediterranean. And then there's another one that is Marriott is Mediterranean. Oh, Fil Rouge is the one that's French. So those are kind of your standard, and I'm putting that in quotes, standard restaurants that you can go to pretty much any night. I was able to go to either one of those and just walk up. However, for the steakhouse, which is Marble and Co., for the Asian fusion kind of restaurant, which was Sakura, and was there another one? Just those 2? I think Anthology was like the one that was like $300. I was not paying that for a foodie experience. Those 2 are the ones that require reservations ahead of time. So I immediately went, after getting my champagne, walked right over to the restaurant reservations booth and made my reservation. And I was able to get pretty much the reservations that I needed. Okay, let me get back in the chat. I'm kind of talking about the boarding day experience. And welcome in, everyone. My name is Carlene, solo traveler extraordinaire. And this is a Monday meetup where every Monday there's either a live stream or some premiere content for you to chat about. And of course, ask your travel questions, talk about your adventures. And tonight I am recapping my time on Explora Journeys because if you were here last week, the internet cut out on me while I was on board. So I'm kind of finishing up where I left off and hopefully answering any questions. I know there was a couple questions that got kind of chopped off before I'm getting to people. Capri says, yes, our house was built in the 1950s. Okay, so my mom, you got one of them good brick houses. So my mom's house is built, I think that's her time frame, but she has a really good brick house. My house is wooden frame, I believe. And it's like over 100, like 113 years. I live in a historic district. It's the only historic district east of the river. So with the old house, we comes with some old house problems, which I think those 50s homes with the bricks probably have a little better bones, but this little wood frame house sometimes be wearing me out. Kenny Elliott is in the building saying, hey, C. Hi, Kenny. Welcome in here. Folks are speaking. Drew says, happy Monday to all. It's so cold. We had snow flurries in Florida. Wowzers. Okay. This cold is something serious. Like even getting back from so we started the cruise in San Juan, but we ended the cruise in Miami. And I don't think I ever seen Miami that cold, y'all. So yeah. Like I pulled my scarf out. It was so cold. Capri says we always run our water, unfortunately. Yeah, and see the thing was I don't mind dripping the pipes and run the water while I'm here, but I'm hesitant to do that when I'm like out of town for an extended period. So now my strategy is I just open up all the valves, turn off the main water valve, and just leave the house. Because that way I'm like, if something breaks or pops, at least the water's not running. But that worked for me a couple of trips in January. But this time, for some reason, that one little faucet was not trying to turn on for me, but thank God it eventually opened up and no pipes burst. I don't believe. I got to try my washing machine just to be on the safe side, but it seems like so far so good. I don't hear any water like trickling in the walls or anything like that, but I keep my ear out just in case. And usually DC Water, if there's a change in like any sort of water usage, it'll let me know. Kenny is reminding y'all to smash that like button and hit subscribe, everyone. Yes, please do. Please do it again. Tonight, I'm talking about my time on Explora Journeys. I'm also probably, you all also saw, I recapped or I put up a video related to my tips and lessons learned for my journey to Prime on Royal Caribbean, which, Lord, that was an expensive journey. Costly. All right, let me get back in these chats. Let's see. Mark Hackett says snow in Florida, no way. Right, no way, but it's brick. Like it, and that's from like the top of the map to the bottom. It's just cold. And I think we got another round of something coming on Wednesday, possibly. Ken Hill is in the building saying hello. Let's see. Keisha H. Folks are speaking. Gia and Ashley are here. Hey, Gia and Ashley. Thanks for popping by. Warm Strong Adventures is here. Thank you, Bill, for being here. Seth says, I've been delivering packages all week. So through the whole DMV, I don't know how DC had them kids in school with no sidewalks. And listen, DC is hilarious because like, I know the mayor's not running for re-election, but she does this whole thing sometimes where it's like everything is okay. And it's like, it's okay to not be okay and to own when you're not okay. And so I think like our issue with DC a lot of times is like, we actually do have kids who probably, houses lose heat, don't have running water in these kind of temperatures, may run out of food and that kind of stuff. And they kind of try to keep the schools open so that those kids can have access. But I think if that's the case, you should just say, hey, we're going to open up certain school buildings so that kids can have respite and pay staff to be those like extra care people. But what happens is they're kind of like, yep, get back in the building. And it was literally no way, like there was no way. I live right in front of a school and there was no way that like cars could park to safely drop off kids. Then there was like a mountain of snow. So it's like, how are they going to access the sidewalks? Yeah, it's going to be a while. And even now I'm thinking, like for the government, we were able to telework. Well, now we're furloughed. So I ain't teleworking. I ain't doing nothing. But yeah. This is like sometimes like it's okay. Like we haven't seen snow like this in a long time. Just like cut your losses and either add some time at the end of the school year or just, make up the learning some other way. But these streets are not okay. Not okay at all. I walked less than a mile and I had to walk in the middle of the street. Capri says, "You're welcome. I understand. My to-do list is ridiculous." But let's see. Drew says, yes, celebrate Black History Month, but the more important thing is to support. Yes. So make sure you support your Black-owned businesses. There's a lot of Black-owned travel businesses that you all see. Oftentimes, your favorite YouTubers are also selling travel. So if you're booking those trips, you have those family reunions, reach out to us. That's community building. Try to keep those nails, the hair, everything. So definitely it's not just like saying, oh, we celebrate, but definitely make sure it's the support. It's the support part. But it's also a good time to just, celebrate Blackness, Black culture. I've been having a good old time reading threads all week, or not all week. It's only been two. So two was today, Monday. But let's see. Shantia says, yeah, I know somebody who was stuck on the ship in the last snowstorm and they were on for an extra day. Yeah. And it's been like all the ports, like even Galveston, one of the Disney ships, I think came back to port at like 10 o'clock one night. Or some ships can't get in, that kind of thing. So I will say, like, just like they say, for hurricane season, make sure you pack a little extra, be prepared. That January, February travel, y'all might want to pack a little extra and be prepared, because even though you can get out, sometimes it's not safe to get back in. So for instance, like Tampa cruise port, something I learned on Margaritaville at Sea was, I got on the sailing that was right after the big, that big fog storm, or the big fog that had moved into Tampa cruise port, and like no ships could come back in. I think they were like delayed some kind of crazy time, and it was like crazy lines getting on off the ship. And so I was able to do a tour of the bridge with the captain, and he was like, yeah, he said, I have the navigational skills to get you back into port in high and dense fog. He said, but literally the Coast Guard will shut down the ports because it's just not safe for everyone. So it's not that like, they can't do it, but it's literally for everyone's safety. There's just like, all right, we're going to shut down the port and we're going to bring you in. We can bring you in so that we can move all the vessels safely. So you never know. Just, always have that little bit of extra. And I get it. Sometimes we are trying to travel and we're like, look, I'm going on my last dollar and my last dime. But make sure, you got that backup fund, that family member you could call, something, just in case you need it. On the go, Yola says, I've had to rethink my packet for sure. Oh yeah, because a lot of people are going on Life with V's Super Bowl cruise. And I guess it's not going to warm up. That one looks fun. A lot of people that I saw going, I was like, well, that's gonna be a good time. Yola says the reel was cute and it was hilarious and cute. It was fun to make. Kenny says, yeah, the dang on, what's it called? Groundhog. Is it saw his shadow or didn't see his shadow? I don't know how it works. But the way that it's feeling, we are definitely getting 6 more weeks of winter. Like I've never looked at today I looked at my phone and it was like, oh, it's gonna be 35 degrees. Like we're going to have a heat wave. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on Wednesday, to see how things materialize if we get more snow. Fam Lions in the building. Welcome in. Team Reese is in the building. Welcome in. Who else we have here? Keisha says, I love the robe video. See, I actually have one more robe reel. I'm gonna wait though. I don't want to have too many like dancing videos, I guess shorts out all at once. But there's one more reel that I filmed in my room. And there's actually one from World America that I filmed, I never put together. So I'm excited about, being parked for like 5 months. I think my plan is not to travel until the ultimate solo group cruise, which you haven't heard, Deej and Danielle experience. See, the solo cruise and I were hosting a solo power group cruise in June, but my plan is to stay parked because I have so much of like my camera reels that I have to get through. So I literally still have Explorer of the Seas content. I have Explora Journey content. I still have more content for Margaritaville at Sea. I have Radiance of the Seas and Liberty of the Seas. I have literally five ships that I have to create content for, and then a bunch of just, stuff that I film for real. So I'm excited because I don't know if like any other creators in the chat feel this way, but literally like the week leading up to cruising, and it's probably what you don't see on like you see like all the videos produced, but you don't get to see like the inside baseball. But for me, like the week leading up to cruising, no matter my intentions of like trying to get vlogs out and set up the channel, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna schedule a video. It never happens. So that's 1 week on the front end that like you miss content. Then the week that you're actually traveling, some people can do it good, really well. I usually can hunker down and do it for like inaugural cruises. Where I know that the views are going to be high. I'll try to like push out a video while I'm on the ship. But otherwise, I'm pretty terrible at editing while I'm on the ship. So that's 1 more week that like you don't get anything. And then when I get home, it's like I got to unpack the things. So find the microphones, where's the cameras, upload stuff, and then just get back in your routine. So it's almost like 3 weeks of like, even though travel for me is fun, it just takes like 3 more weeks to get set back into my like content producing routine. So I'm excited about being parked a little bit to produce and show the things I've seen. So yeah, my cruising family is in the building. Welcome in, Peter. Capri says, if we don't have 75% of students on site in Michigan, it doesn't count as an official day anyway. So it's all up to the superintendents. Oh my gosh. And see, yeah, I don't know like the inside baseball of like what the pressure is. Like, is it the teachers union? I don't want to put it on teachers, but like when we have these big snow events, it's like kids are going to be in school from probably the time that they're in pre-K to 12th grade. Like they got a lot of years to get it. So now Michigan, I guess you all are prepared for snow, but like here, it's like you have a lot of opportunity to make up some learning. Like literally the sidewalks are frozen. So, and then somebody I know, I won't say that. I won't say that, but apparently kids are getting picked up by like our school district is sending Ubers to kids. And I'm like, now you got a whole safety and PR situation about to happen. Because hell, even my Uber driver coming from the airport, these Uber drivers are built different now. Like if it's not on the GPS, they don't know how to get there. So now you have a whole 7-8 year old. And for DC, you don't get transportation unless you have a documented IEP. So you have a child with special need in an Uber. What if the road is not clear? What if they can't make that right? So yeah. It's just a big liability, and it's just kind of like just wait a week until we get consistent. Like next week will be consistently above freezing, and it's just safer for everybody. But anyway, let's get back into travel talk, or if not, we'll just talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. My cruising family says agreed. This is the first winter we've had in a while. True. Yes. And I like snow. So I hope we get 1 more good snow while I'm home because I'm mad I missed this one. Yolo says the sun was out, but it was still 23 degrees and snow is everywhere, just piles and piles. And yes, these kids are going to school. But see, you're upstate. It's like some places I expect if it snows, you go to school. Like I remember one of my friends from high school, he had got a football scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan. And he literally said he woke up one morning and he looked out his window and it was 12 inches of snow on the ground. And as a kid who grew up in PG County, like PG will close. Like it was just closed. Like your neighborhood might look clear, but it's a part of the county that probably just can't be accessed. So he saw it 12 inches. He went to sleep. His coach literally called him and was like, son, this is West Virginia. You take your butt to class. Otherwise, don't come back to practice. So there's parts of the country who totally get it. But here, even though we're like considered northern, like DC, we don't know how to drive in it. Apparently we don't know how to plow it either. So yeah. My cruising family says, see, you're living a blessed life of travel. Amen. Yeah, I just want to stay blessed in all the things. But literally I just like doing the things I want to do, and I just want to share it with y'all. So for Explora Journeys was a stretch. That was a stretch for me to get on. That trip was $3,800. Probably the most. Is that the most I paid for a cruise to date? I think that was the most I paid for a cruise to date. But I knew that, like, as the word gets out about Explora Journeys, I know their prices are going to start kicking up. And I don't want the prices to kick up to the point that, like, it's out of the range and I'll never be able to experience it. So I just went ahead and bit the can I say bit the bullet? I don't know. I never know what's going to get me banned on this thing. But I went ahead and just like did it because I was like, I just want to experience it. And it was worth the experience for sure. It was definitely worth the experience. Lovely itinerary. So the first day we were started at St. Barth's, which, Lord, pack your cheese when you're going to St. Barth, because that place, I literally like, so we were supposed to be in St. Barth's till like 10 p.m. I already planned this. So I'm going to be transparent about this part. I already knew this was about to happen, but by 2 p.m., I had already spent $500 in St. Barth's. So St. Barth's is definitely like a place that, but I already planned it on a sense of like, I knew that was going to be the hit. I also knew, because it was at least on the front end of my trip, I can plan accordingly for the back end of the trip. So that was probably the stop that I wanted to see the most, because in my head, I'm like, yeah, when am I going to be in St. Barth's again? For me, I liked, so I wanted to do, of course, the classic Nikki Beach, but it was interesting. I appreciated Gypsy, which is another beach club, probably like 3 doors down from Nikki Beach is Gypsy. I think Gypsy was better than Nikki Beach. And I think they had a better menu of food. The prices were better. So like Nikki Beach, you're going to go with like lounges automatically, like I think a $200 situation, and it'll go up depending on what part of the time of the season you're there. Whereas Gypsy had more loungers, but their cheapest lounger for me to be was $80, or you could do $200 for a day bed in the front. So you can go front, day bed, $200, which would be $100 a piece. Or you can have like a back row for like $80. But they had better food, better seafood, everything. So I was happy to experience it. And then Eden Rock was over there. I ain't even playing Eden Rock, but literally I wish I could have maybe did dinner or something. But literally, like, St. Barth's was, if you stop there, be prepared to pack a coin. The cab ride is going to be $40 each way. Oh, I'm sorry. And it's in euro. So currently, I think last week or whatever week I was there, the euro is like $1.17 to $1 or something like that. Did I get that right? I might have it backwards. But the benefit, though, there is no sales tax, but you're paying in euros. So just to get from leave Gustavia area to over to St. John, like where the Nikki Beach side, that was $40. It seemed like there's a few little shops or whatever you can walk around and do in Gustavia, but I knew I wanted to kind of do beach. That was in my head. That was gonna be beach club day. So I had 2 lunches. I had one lunch at Gypsy. I had lunch at Nikki Beach. I treated myself to a purse, a bag, it's a cute little summer bag. And about 2 p.m., I was like, if you ever go, I have a driver's number. I'm happy to share that with you. But yeah, 2 p.m., I called the cab driver that I met at the port, called him. He gave me his WhatsApp. And I was like, I'm ready to go back to the ship. So even though the port stayed open till, or that port, we didn't leave until 10 p.m., that thing was so expensive that I was just like, yeah, take me back now. And it was also like a lot of people who were just like, we're not even getting off in St. Barth's because it was so expensive. But like it was cute. Like if you like boutique shopping, if you want to buy that like cover up or swimsuit that you won't see other people with, or the lovely little sun hats, like it was a cute little vibe. It was a cute vibe. Let's see. Oh, your sis Cassandra is here saying, "Hey, I'm late. Welcome back. Happy Monday and happy Black History Month, everyone." Yes, happy Monday and happy Black History Month. To you, Cassandra. On a go at Yellow says, normally yes, but this time I am trending to be ahead. We will see. I'm behind on comments on that one. Let's see. Carolyn Plowder was like, "Don't bring no more snow." She said, "I hope we don't have any. I don't have another storm anytime soon. I'm not feeling this cold at all." Yeah, this cold was something else. I actually felt like I did a cold plunge. A couple of days I just went out the door without any kind of coat on or anything, just to get that cold shock to my system, and came back inside. Adventures and Spirits is in the building. She was dropping some. If you go to the video that I did on Royal Caribbean Casino tips that I released on, was that Sunday or Saturday? I can't remember. I think it was Saturday. Adventurers dropped some dimes, and a few other people would drop some really good pointers for playing to get to Casino Royale. So read those comments. Sometimes the comments can be really helpful, and people were dropping some nice little like paragraphs and like decent commentary related to like, here's some things you should think about if you want to do the casino program. So Peter says, "Watch your mouth." See, I don't even know what I said. Probably talking about snow. Murph says, "We had something from the day after tomorrow." Literally the whole, like everything from like Tennessee, or no, because even Texas got a little drama with the snow too. I've never seen like the half the nation frozen ever. Yolo says 3,800. That was awesome for a 7-day cruise, all included. So in my head, and it was a suite. It wasn't just a balcony. It was now I had their lowest tier of the suite. So I had an OT1, which honestly I kind of liked, because the OT1, which is their entry level, first, everything on the ship is a suite. But I got their cheapest room, which is OT1. It's on the 6th floor. And I think the only difference is like OT2, possibly. I don't know if you get a little more room or whatever, but they put them on higher floors. Well, I say I like the 6th floor because you're only 1 deck or 2 decks away from dining. So, and you're only 1 deck down from the lobby bar. So I literally can just walk down, get me a cocktail, come back up, or walk down to Crema and get me a coffee and a little sandwich. They had a really good chicken salad sandwich, and come back up. Versus if you're on 8 or 9, you only could just, you still have to get up to like 11. So I kind of like that entry level deck 6 for it. But yeah, it was 38, I think like 38.60 maybe, 38.40 for a 7-day cruise. And then the stops were pretty nice. And then everything included. So in my head, I'm like, those are the prices that Virgin is asking for a sea terrace. And you still end up having to buy a bar tab. Now the difference is going to be, because I'm not going to rule out the good girlfriend Virgin. I think she still has her own purpose. You're not going to have the vibe in regards to like the music and all that kind of stuff and the activities like Virgin. But Explorer, they tried it with the activities. But Explorer was very relaxing. The food was very good. They even had like a little line dancing class, so they trying. So yeah, and then you got really good ports. So again, I was telling you about St. Bart's. Then the next day we went to Tortola. So this is the first time doing a bunch of ports I had not been to. Actually, I think the first cruise in a long time. I think every port that we stopped at, I'd never been. So they went to Tortola. So for Tortola Day, I decided to do Joost Van Dyke, an excursion over there to like the Soggy Dollar area. And again, the Soggy Dollar was kind of like how I felt about Nikki Beach. It's like the Soggy Dollar is the spot that everybody talks about. However, the real vibe is next door at Hendo's Hideout, or Hendo's Hideaway. So I would say, like, if you decide to go over Joost Van Dyke, lovely water. Sometimes it's like a lot too many boats in that area if you like really want to swim, but it's enough water if you want to just like get out there. I had my little floaty thing, was talking to some of the boaters. But yeah, and the prices were kind of decent at Joost Van Dyke. So I decided to do that one because even though it's my first time at Tortola, I figured that I would have another opportunity to go to the baths. But I wanted to just go ahead and knock out Joost Van Dyke. And from the channel standpoint, I know a lot of people have the BAFS videos, but I don't think a lot of people have like how to get to the BVI from or BVI is Tortola, but how to get to Joost Van Dyke. So stay tuned for that. MH Family Adventure says, see, now I am thinking about staying on the ship in St. Barts. Was just talking to Cheryl about this for Explorer Group. That port is expensive. It is. It's expensive. It's an expensive port. The ship offered, I think the ship excursions were like, the first one was like $300, I think, for a beach day. Which usually when you book Explorer, they're going to have some onboard credit for you. So I had like $165 worth of onboard credit. I used that actually for the zip lining excursion. But like one of the ladies I was talking to, they had like, there was one was like $300 and there was one that was like $500 for like a Michelin star lunch situation. But yeah, because I was so hell-bent on getting to the St. John Beach, I didn't like kind of look to see what everything else was. But I was looking for an ATM in Gustafia. So I did walk down the strip. There is, if you stop in Gustafia, there is literally right across the way, there's a pharmacy. So in case like, something happens, anybody needs anything, it's a tender port. But literally right across the way from where the ship dropped or the tender will arrive, there is a pharmacy. So if you need any like medications or any of the little things you might have forgot, like toothbrush, toothpaste, those kind of things, you can grab that there. Then as you're walking, it's going to be like all of your shops. So a lot of like beach cover up kind of things, beach hats. And then there's a couple little cafes. And if you walk more towards the end of the block, there was a couple like lively cafes for like, you can buy some more bars. I don't want to say cafes, like bars where you can get like some drinks and that kind of stuff. And at that point I found an ATM. So I went ahead and found me a cab and then headed to where I needed to go. But I mean, it's worth experiencing once. And I might have a request for y'all because I forgot to get a magnet. So I might have to be that friend who's like, can you bring me back? I'll hit y'all up on the side. But yeah, just FYI. But if you plan for it, so I knew, and I'm happy again that port was at the beginning of my trip when I had all the coins. Versus I couldn't imagine if it was like at the end of the trip. So basically what I did was I had St. Barts. I used my onboard credit to cover the zip lining excursion. So that was no money out of pocket, outside of tipping. Then I did shore excursions group for Yoast. So that was like $159. So that was out of pocket. And then we did Anguilla. I was like, whatever is in front of me, wherever this tender lets, and the tender lets out at, what's it called? Sandy Ground. It seems like I think it was like JoJo's. It's a bar restaurant with a J front and left. That seemed black owned. I went to Elvis's bar for a couple of drinks, and then I came back down the way and went to Joe something, and I got me some. They're supposed to be known for Anguilla, like barbecue. So I got me some barbecue like ribs or something, and then headed back to the ship. So yeah, I didn't spend any money in Anguilla. So I kind of paced it out that way. But yes, please be mindful in Gustafia. Like I heard it was expensive, but it's expensive. And apparently, like as the season, so like I also probably got lucky because like New Year's had just happened, which is their like super high season. And then, as things start warming up, it becomes, they're like back in the season again. So like Nikki Beach, I had to like reserve my lunch a couple weeks out, just to make sure I got a seat. Whereas Gypsy seemed kind of walk up, but I'm sure in the high season, it might not be like that. My cruising family says, I'm kicking myself for not booking Explora earlier because their prices have definitely gone up. They told us about this line at Seascape's christening in 2022. Wow. And shout out to MSC, like, saying like, hey, this is going to be a thing. It's happening. But it's a really nice concept. Now, I will say they have a couple of moments where you can tell, like, again, the service is a little MSC-ish. But it wasn't enough to like break me and be like, I ain't never come back on the ship. But they, in comparison to so far, I've only had like 2 luxury line experiences. One was Regent, one was Explorer. I will say I got off Regent and was like, yeah, I don't see me booking this ever again. It just wasn't my speed. And like the sticker price that I saw, I was just like, yeah, I'm not paying for that. I'd rather pay for like Haven or something like that, or like the ship within a ship concept, or like a Celebrity or Norwegian. Explorer, I kind of was like, oh yeah, I could definitely do this again. So yeah, the prices are slowly creeping up. However, something to think about is that what was I about to say? Something to think about is it's slipping me. Old people problems. Something to think about is the deposit. So for Explorer, right around this time of year, so anytime between, I would say like November through February, they'll have a reduced deposit for you. So they'll have anywhere between 5 and 10% deposit. So I believe like, I can't remember, it started like October and November, but they were offering a reduced 5% deposit. So that's how I had booked this. I booked this trip 2024. Was it December? I think December 2024 is when I booked this trip. And I only had to put down $192. And it was so cheap that it was to the point that it was like, oh, when it's time to like actually pay the final payment, I was like, oh, wait. So, and then right now they're running 10% deposits through the end of February. So that's something to be mindful of. So this might be the time of year, put your hold on it, book it 2 years out. So I know right now I believe they have bookings open, I think until like May 2028 right now. So you can hold Explora Journeys for, 10% deposit at the moment. And if you want assistance with, putting a hold on, insight about which itinerary you might consider booking, etc., I am more than happy to help you plan. So reach out. Rockwell says 500 is a whole other cruise. Well, I have to kind of qualify this a little bit. So it was okay. So somebody do the math. We're going to shoot off the numbers. Somebody do the math. Okay. So it was $80 round trip for a cab ride. And unfortunately, I did not, my strategy of make friends and share a cab, that didn't happen. So it was $80 round trip. Oh, and bring cash. For Gustafia, you're gonna need cash for the cab. So $80 for the cab ride. Then I went over to my reservation wasn't until 2 at what's the place? Nikki Beach. So I walked around a little bit. And I went to Gypsy. So getting to Gypsy was fine. You can walk up. They literally have stools where you can just sit if you want to just get drinks. So I had, first I started with a glass of wine. I think that was reasonable. The glass of wine was like $12, I believe. But then I messed around and ordered the king crab nacho or tacos because I was like, why not? Those are like 42 or 52. I can't remember. So that was a choice. That wasn't I had to. So far, really, the only thing I had to do was buy the taxi. Then I went over to Nikki Beach. And their lunch, I think most of their lunch plates were like $24 to like $50. I got the lobster pasta. That was kind of and then my drink, I got a glass of wine. Their glasses of wine were a little on the higher end and it wasn't a good one. So it was like 20. So again, that's kind of like, the lunch thing is a choice because I did eat before I get off the ship, but I had to eat again. So those are all choices. Right now, again, it's still like the $80 taxi ride that's gagging me. And what else? Oh, and then I bought a purse, and that was $200. So in my head, I was like, I have to get off of this island because I'm just spending to just be spending. And it's like there's food on the ship, so cut it out. But I kind of wanted to stick around to see because they're really known for like the upbeat like music. So they did have a little bit like the fist pumping music. That was kind of good to listen to. It didn't kind of get the whole kind of full Nikki Beach party vibe that it's known for while I was there. But yeah, it was even like to just do, it was pricey. It was a pricey port. And yes, 500 is a whole nother cruise. But yeah, I was like, why are we here till 10? Because it's not like nobody was like going to go out and be like, we're going to go party. But they said a few guests will go out and like have a like fancy French dinner or something like that. But if anything, I wanted to get like catch a nice music vibe. That was my goal. And I didn't catch a good music vibe. And B, I was spending a lot of money. So I was like, it's time to go. On the go yellow says, I like midship, so OT1 or whatever would work for me. Your cabin was beautiful. Yeah. And I wasn't mid? Maybe I was mid. Yeah, I think I was midship and it was middle of the deck. Yeah. So I think that was a good entry point. A couple, like one lady, the solo meetup. So it was a good group of women, 5 women. Mostly 3 of the women were widows. And then one was a solo traveler, American. 3 were the widows. It's interesting. 3 were widows. No, 2 were widows from the UK. One was a widow from, I think, somewhere in the Northeast. And then somebody from Chicago who was about in my age range or whatever. And we every night met up for the drinks, and then they did the whole dinner situation together. But one of the ladies actually, she was newly widowed. It was actually like supposed to be her husband and her were supposed to be on this trip together. He had passed before the trip happened. So sister girl had upgraded herself to, what did she do? One of the residences, I believe, or something. She had the big room. But a couple of the other ladies who they weren't in the basic category, they were up one, and they were just like, yeah, it didn't seem worth it to do the higher cabin category. 6 says, oh yes, I'm looking at St. Bart's excursion. Now I gotta rewind to see what you said. What else we got? Folks are speaking. Hi. If you seek Amy says hello. I can't believe I caught alive. Hey. Thanks for being here. I'm glad you caught alive. Who else? Folks are welcome. Thank y'all for being a welcoming committee. All right, let me scroll down a little bit. Liam says, hey Carlene in chat, how are you? Have you thawed out yet? My pipe in my bathroom has thawed out without bursting. Thank Jesus. But my car is still iced in at a random lot around the corner. So waiting to, one of my friends is going to eventually help me coordinate that situation. But yeah, it was so funny because I was laughing at myself because I like had my little plastic shovel and I was like, I'm going to do it myself, independent woman. And I walk around the corner and like literally the shovel wasn't like it didn't like even pierce the surface of the snow. So yeah. Let's see. Trying to get caught up. Keisha H says luxury life vibes even in the port. Yeah, it was in like so then I think I get a clip of this. So after I left the ATM, I ended up walking by like Yacht Row. Oh, and I'm sorry, I was so loud on the mic. And when we pull up that morning, because it was a tender port, the water was a little choppy. So I'm also maybe prepared for that. Sick. That day, I don't think it's always like that, but that day the water was a little choppy, so they had to slow down the tender operation. And so I'm sitting up there, it was like having a glass of wine, waiting, because at 12 o'clock they'll let everybody off, or they'll stop doing the cards. So when they first start tendering, from like the first couple of hours of tender, you go down to I think it's called the Journeys Lounge, and you get the little coupon, you wait for your color to be called or whatever. Over the intercom, they kept announcing like, yeah, it's so packed in here, it's so slow, like don't nobody else come down to the Journey Lounge. We'll just wait 15 minutes, wait 20 minutes, whatever. So about 12 o'clock, I'm sitting up on the deck and I'm like, I know this helicopter is not about to just land on this boat. Like there was a yacht next to the ship and the front of it looked big enough to have a helipad, but I was just like, I know that like what's about to happen. I think it's about to happen. This helicopter literally, y'all, flew in, landed on someone's boat. Like, so not only are you in this mega million, I'm assuming, yacht, but you're arriving by helicopter. And so I had to sit up there and be nosy. They also give you binoculars for the nosy people. They give you binoculars on Explora Journeys. I forgot to use them, but I actually was looking enough. It was only the helicopter crew that was getting off. So I guess the occupants weren't ready to leave the ship yet, their boat yet. But literally, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm literally sitting in St. Bart's watching a yacht, like people being delivered by helicopter. So that's a message to anybody who's in business or money or those kind of things. There is so much money out here, y'all. Like, it's gobs of money out here. It's a ridiculous amount of money that's out here. It's a whole lot of things. Like, A, the wealthy should be helping people who are in need. But B, like, there is money to be had. Because I'm like, you arrived in St. Bart's by helicopter to land on your yacht. What the hell? So yeah, it was a whole nother level. But cool to witness. Amy says, I live in the DMV area. This ice snow is unreal. People parked around my apartment building have been iced in for over a week. Yeah. Because it was like if you didn't shovel yourself out in the middle, and I appreciate, I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole. I'm not gonna go down the rabbit hole I was about to go down. But I literally was kind of like, because I'm grateful, like one of my friends was helping me, but I appreciate how like literal men can be. So I leave my car. One of my friends like lives around the corner from me. So I leave my car over there because if y'all have been following the channel for a long time, you know, 2 of my vehicles have been hit while parked while I was traveling. One time when I was on Virgin Voyages, and I think another time I was actually home. Anyway, so now I have PTSD with parking. So when I had left my car with him and I was like, all right, when I saw snow was coming, I was like, ooh, let me text, because again, like the forward thinking of men, I was like, let me like, you know, hey, don't park my car where you usually park it because it'll be on a dirt lot. That dirt is going to become mud. And so his wonderful, helpful self parked it on a church parking lot. And I'm like, so what if they don't shovel this lot? Like, so I'm stuck in like ice and it's nowhere near like the end of. So he's going to come and get me out one of these days. But I appreciate the assistance. But literally, first I had to prove to him that I actually knew that a storm was coming. So once I finally proved to him that a storm was coming, it was going to stick, he decided he's going to put my car somewhere. And I was like, but you didn't think about if you put it there, you're going to have to start shoveling so that the ice doesn't get caught to it. And then, I don't know. The good news is he at least got the ice off the top of the car, but now the car is stuck in a church parking lot. And thankfully it's an abandoned church, so they haven't like A, try to, I don't know, shovel themselves out, and B, I haven't got towed yet. Even though the tow might actually help at this rate. But I don't want to pay the fees for it. So Liam says, I'm in the wrong line of work. Yes, because if you had a dump truck, you would be making a lot of money in DC right now. Because apparently somebody said like what happened was the city ran out of money and nobody wants to talk about that. Which I do know Congress is holding some money hostage from us, but yeah. Anywho, back to cruising. So yeah, overall, Explorer was cool. I would definitely get back on. I think I saw last week I think Rich and Jazz had asked a question about the casino, what the vibes were in the evening. The casino was crickets. They have about 4 or 5. They don't have a lot of machines. The tables were empty. They might have said like 1 or 2 nights they might have got lively. The thing with Explorer is like you might be getting on at one port. It's similar to MSC. You might be getting on at one port and other people are getting off and then more people are coming on. So like you constantly have, you know how like over the course of a trip when, you know, so when it's around, what is it called? When a round trip cruise, everybody gets on the same day, everybody gets off the same day. You kind of can like predict the pace of the ship, right? So those cruises, the first night, people are usually tired, but you know, people probably get to the club. And then the second night, everybody's like, okay, we're on vacation. Let's turn up. But then like things kind of trickle down. Well, it's kind of hard to predict the ebbs and flows because you have people who have been on the ship for 14 days. About the time you get on, you have people who this is their first day. You have people who this is day 3. So it's kind of hard to like find a pace of activities, but I think they had a good amount of activities. I think YOLO last week was like, was it stuffy? It was not stuffy. They actually were playing cornhole officers versus guests cornhole in the lobby on day, what was that? The last day, the second to last day. So like I think I like the vibe. They had like, what was it? They would do like rooftop live music vibes. Like it was a nice little thing going on. Liam says that was your second time on Explore, right? No, that was my first time. That was my first time. I want to get in the rotation, but it'll probably be like a every other year situation, just thinking about the other commitments I have and making sure I save for it. So Keisha A says y'all have definitely made Explora Journey look so appealing. I think it was. It was just, again, something coming off with a zero balance. Being able to just walk up and not have to scan your card, not have to sign a receipt. It's just like, not have to think about, okay, is this drink in my drink package or is this going to be an upcharge? Like, it was so transparent. Like, it was basically everything was included. And the food was pretty good. The only thing I would complain about food wasn't necessarily quality, it was more the timing. So the only time I don't think they nailed it was that afternoon time. If you have an excursion, so I think the day of, what was that? The day of Antigua, my excursion, I got back, I walked around to find a magnet, and by the time I got back on board, it was like 3 or so, and the buffet only had was only serving burgers. And it was like, okay, that day I didn't mind getting a burger. But then the second day I was like, had the same situation or was about to have the same situation. And I was like, well, it'd be nice to have another option that wasn't like a heavy burger. So I wish that time of day they would do like pizza and a burger. But then you also have Crema Cafe that's open that has small sandwiches. Every other day they have this really good chicken salad sandwich. Or you can order room service, but that's going to take a little bit. So I just would only like thing I would offer them is like, if you, for the burger, like maybe add pizza, fancy pizza burger per se. If you see, Amy says, I saw a yacht in Norway that had a submersible, like on submarine. I'm telling y'all, like, there is money out here. There is money out here. Like, because why do you need a yacht and a submarine at the same time? Wow. Liam says, oh, the other one was Regent. Yeah, the other one was Regent Seven Seas. And I just don't think I'm in my like Regent era. I would definitely want to circle back. I would love to try a newer Regent ship. But kind of doing Regent Seven Seas Voyager, I was like, yeah, I'm not in my Regent era in a lot of ways. So let me know if y'all have any other questions about Explorer. I'm going to probably wrap it up soon. Liam says, which one did you like better? I liked Explorer better, hands down. Loved Explore the Seas. I will say the only thing that Regent had a leg up on Explore the Seas. I'm sorry. Too many e-cruises right at the same time. Because I literally got off of Explorer of the Seas, Royal Caribbean at the end of November. And then the next ship down is Explora Journeys. So Explorer 1. I think the only thing that Regent has a leg up on Explorer 1 is the quality of food in its main dining room. So every night for Regent in the main dining room, you'll get like there's lobster, scallops. There's a bunch of like seafood in the offerings. So I would give them just on the like main dining. So if I had to like compare Med Yacht, Fin Rouge, and then Regent's main dining experience, I would give Regent that. But I would still say Explorer for the two upscale, whatever they call them, the specialty dining. I think Explorer has Regent beat on the upgraded meal options. That's the only thing that I was like, I'll give it to Regent on. The activities, the energy, but I also will say, like, I have to qualify it was Explorer 1 is a relatively new ship. I think it rolled out with 2024-ish or something like that. I was on Regent's older ship. So I was on its second oldest, I think, Voyager. So it's not a full apples to apples. It'll be interesting to try a newer Regent ship, but I think right now, just having the two experiences, I would say Explorer. Capri says, I've noticed Disney Cruise Line has some good deals coming up this April 2026. Oh, yeah, I haven't been tracking Disney Cruise deals recently. But I can imagine like in this economy, if you got it, you're going to be able to take advantage of some really good deals on, some premium experiences, because like it's really a time that like the rich are getting richer, and like us working folks are like, we're feeling it. So definitely try to take advantage of like any kind of deals you might see. But I don't know what's going on with Disney. Like for cruise line, they've been having some really good stuff, and usually they're kind of high out of the range, but I haven't priced them in a long time. So you make me like feel like I need to go and look. Well, all right, let's see. So quick, we always got to do our closing announcements. So we are getting to let's see, closer and closer to the ultimate solo group cruise on Celebrity Reflections. So it's getting to the point that you're going to have to pay. Final payment is in April. So if you join this one, you probably have to get ready to make the full payment if you want to join us. But I think it's still like in the $1,100 range for one. I think that's the number. And deposits are 100, but you're again gonna have to get ready for the deposit. Then we have the Good Government Getaway, which will be the Epcot Food and Wine Festival, October 9th through the 11th. That group is coming together really nicely. I think we have about 10 folks who are going to be eating and drinking around the world at Epcot, which I think Food and Wine Festival is my favorite. It is my favorite festival. I know it. So yeah, we'll have a bunch of activities for that. You can scan that if you're interested. For this one, there is a $30 registration fee, and I made the $30 registration fee because that was the only way I can figure out how to make sure that people like get a good count of who's coming, and make sure that I don't necessarily come out of pocket, and like I buy things and make accommodations and people no show. So quick little nominal fee, but it gets you a t-shirt and it gets you some other activities. And once I receive that fee, you get the itinerary. Let's see. Then we have the Ultimate Land and Sea, which right now is $50 deposits on Carnival until I think February 3rd. And that's starting about the $1,000 range. And we are co-hosting this with me, Sig the Solo Cruiser, Raquel. We got Siobhan from Parks on the Go, Kiki, and Regina. So scan that if you want to tag along. We're going to have 2 days eating and drinking and having a good time in New Orleans, and then hopping on which will be newly refurbished Carnival Dream out of New Orleans. So you Midwesterners, you folks from Texas, this is your opportunity. You don't got to come all the way to Miami. You'll have a ship right there, and we'll all be there. Then we have, which is becoming like almost a group cruise, the Greek Isles and cruising to Cairo on Virgin Voyages Scarlet Lady, leaving out of Athens June 10th to the 20th of 2027. So you can maximize the Juneteenth holiday. And yeah, I've never been to Cairo. And Egypt is a place that I'm kind of like, I want to see it, but I don't want to spend a whole lot of time there. So yeah, I picked this itinerary, and it also has a couple of my favorite stops. So we'll get to stop in Turkey, which I love a good hammam experience. I did that the last time I went through Istanbul. This time we're going through Ephesus. And Mykonos are featured in this itinerary. So really exciting. June 2027. Then we have the Good Government Getaway, which is October 7th through the 12th, 2027, which is on Norwegian Luna's newest ship. And that's going to be another cruise, almost similar to my Explora Journeys cruise, where heavy focus, because everybody will have, many people already have that drink package, and then includes a specialty dining experience. So yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of eating, drinking, socializing. It heads Bermuda on Norwegian's newest ship. So email me if you're interested in any of those experiences. And then I'm already thinking about 2028. So stay tuned for those dates. I'd like to give you all plenty of time to plan and make your decision about, a trip you might want to join me on. And Amy says she saw that too, of Disney's rates. So yeah, it's COC. Thanks for coming to chat with me. My goal is to slowly but surely you'll be seeing again those 5 cruises. Of course, Explora Journeys Explora Journeys will be coming out. I'm gonna do one more Royal Caribbean vlog first, and then release my Explorer just because I already have it teed up. And then I'll have Margaritaville. I have Radiance of the Seas. I have Liberty of the Seas. I'm probably forgetting a couple more. So lots of content coming your way. Stay tuned. You can follow me on Facebook if you want to see like the day by day as well as any travel deals. Of course, YouTube. Threads if you like stream of consciousness. And then Instagram for any like daily life posts as well. It's C with C. Thanks for chatting with me. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for coming out. We have one positive comment to end on. Miss Sydney says, thanks so much. Have a good night and a great week, everyone. Yes, please do. Good night.